Well, hello, my dear. Welcome. Welcome to Brazen. I'm so glad that you're here. Welcome to how to live your dream life, how to start creating your dream life. Part one. Okay. We're going to make this easy peasy lemon squeezy. We're going to give you a few different areas to look at, and we're going to dig in together. This is one of those episodes where we're going to do the work together and be on the lookout for part two because there's a little bit more to this. Okay. Be on the lookout. It's coming out soon. All right, are you ready to cover this? Are you ready to jump right in? If you want to start living your dream life, if you want to start creating, co-creating with God, source, universe, whatever you believe in, if you want to start co-creating that life and you want to start now, you want to start living it, you want to enjoy your life, maybe you want to heal deeper or expand further, there's going to be a time and a place for taking action. And there's a time and a place for getting really fucking clear on what you're doing. And that's what we're going to do today. Okay. So if you want a little bit more and you're like, Heather, I could use like some inspiration to take some inspired action. I could use a kick in the ass. I could use some accountability. I could use some women all around me fucking cheering me on and sharing really cool different ways to do things. That's Women Rising, babe. We're going to be covering a lot of what we cover in Women Rising today. If you want this, if you're like, yo, this is how I want to end 2024. This is how I want to start 2025 with a giant fucking kick-ass, badass group of women from all over the world that are focused in and they have their own goals and aspirations. And you want to be a part of something like that? Send me a fucking message. Why have you not sent me a message yet? Why have you not claimed your seat yet? Why have you not shared this with every single woman that you know? I feel like every single woman should be there. And because I feel like every single woman hold on, let me try again. Because I feel like every single woman should be there. There we go. If you just send me a message and you're like, hey, do you have a special code that I could use? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. You want a special code to save some moolah, to save some monies? It's already an incredible fucking value. It's already an incredible deal. $77 for a 4-day event with 4 guest speakers, giant international event that's going to change your life. Yeah, that's a good fucking value. You want better? Send me a message. Okay. I love you. I'm excited to talk to you about it. Literally, it's just going to be you and I sending voice clips back and forth, most likely. And then I'm like, oh, by the way, here's a link. Here's the code. And also have a great day. All right. I want to get to know you. Are you ready to dive in? So if you're going to create the life that you want, and we're getting clear on what that means, right? We're figuring out our vision, we're figuring out how to hold that vision, we're asking ourselves what different beliefs and habits we can start to reevaluate, maybe some behaviors, maybe there's some deep healing that needs to happen, some inner child work, some shadow work, some what the fuck ever you want to call it work. There's going to be 4 aspects of creating and co-creating that dream life that you're going to want to take a look at, right? Those, of course, are 4 aspects that we cover in Women Rising, of course. And the 2 of them that we're going to talk about today, you better grab your notebook and your journal and your pen and your cozy drink and your cozy blanket and all the other stuff, light the incense, put on the meditation music. We're getting to work because the 2 areas we're going to cover are confidence and courage today. We're also the fucking special guest star is consistency. Confidence, courage, with a giant fucking dash of consistency. Okay? You ready to go to town? Okay, so you know the deal by now. We've been working together long enough, whether we have been working together one-on-one or in Women Rising in one of the retreats, or you're just coming in and we're hanging out on these podcast episodes together, you know the drill. In your notebook or journal, you're going to make a headline. You're going to make a title. You're going to put a date. Make this mean something. So at the top, if you want to, you could write the big one, of course, like how to co-create the life of your dreams or whatever. Subtitle, confidence. We're going to be focusing on confidence right now. And what does that mean to be confident? If you really want to see it in action, it's when a woman steps into her power. This work that we're about to dive into with confidence is how you step into your fucking power. When I talk about stepping into your power, I don't just mean like at a metaphysical level, at a spiritual level, although I do mean that, although I do fucking mean that. I am also talking about stepping into your power with your voice, stepping into your power with the way that you walk into rooms, stepping into your power with the way that you put yourself out there to be seen, to be heard. I'm asking you to step into your power with believing in yourself and believing that you are worthy, believing that you are enough, having connections that you make, collaborations that you make. I'm asking you to step into your power in all motherfucking ways. And in order to do that, first, you need to identify and cultivate that confidence, and you need to do it about yourself, about your decisions, and about your life, your path that you're taking. Because that's one of the biggest pieces that I hear from all humans, especially women's that are clients, women that are clients, is, am I doing this right? They don't have that confidence cultivated about the path that they're on. They're like, am I doing it right? The fuck? I don't know that I'm doing this right. Let's cultivate that. I'm going to tell you a little story. So, as you know, I grew up in middle America. I grew up in the land of cornfields and cows and farmers and construction workers and bartenders. I've been in all of that. I've not been a construction worker. I've not been like, I wouldn't even classify myself as a farmer. Of all the cousins, and trust me, there's a lot of us, I am the least farmer out of all of them. Give me a garden and I got you, but still. But I grew up in this area. It was very blue collar. And I had this belief system. I had cultivated a confidence around only being able to be down the path that I had seen. And I knew that's not what I wanted. I knew the path that I had seen laid out before me by my family, by others. It's not what I wanted. I didn't want to stay in the small town. I didn't want to live in the same town I grew up in. I didn't want to continue going to the same bar to see the same people, small town. Although I love that, don't get me wrong, I fucking love that. That's just not what I wanted. I wanted more. I wanted more in my life. And it was really difficult because, especially in my family system, no one had really done it the way I wanted to do it. People had gone after their more in my family in different ways, but never the way I wanted to go after it, which was a blessing and a curse, it felt like at times, because it really didn't cultivate a whole lot of fucking courage around my path, around how I was doing it. When I when I went through one of the biggest transitions in my life, when I decided that I was done settling, I was done settling, especially in relationships, and that's when I got a divorce. I was done settling for a life that felt unlived. I was done settling for my own bullshit. That was a big piece. When I decided all of that, I chose that part of my path, part of my journey was going to be that I started road tripping around the country and I just wanted to soak up everything. I wanted to see everything. I wanted to experience everything. I wanted to find more bravery and courage within myself. And I knew if I wanted to create more confidence, then I had to go put myself in situations and I had to live in that confidence. It's not like I just woke up and I was like, I know that I can go on road trips by myself and sleep in my Jeep and find myself after a divorce and cutting off contact with my mother and like all this other stuff. I was just like, this is what I want to do. It feels right in my heart. It feels like the right thing to do. Nobody understood it. There was a few of my friends who were like, yeah, fucking get it. But most people were like, you're fucking insane and you're reckless and you're that. And okay, I was a little reckless and a little insane. All right. Like we're just saying that. But the path I had to take, I wouldn't be here with you. I wouldn't be helping thousands of women more than that every single day if I wouldn't have done that. And the only reason I did that, and then I moved to Tennessee and I moved to Wisconsin and now I'm here in Iowa and I started this fucking business and empire and I did it my way and I did it the way I needed to and wanted to. The only fucking reason I did that is because I cultivated a confidence and believed that my path was the right one for me. I'm here because of confidence, even before I was confident. I'm here because I was dedicated to feeling it before, cultivating it within me, the feeling before it came to me naturally. It comes to you naturally after you've done it a few times and you fucked up a few times, okay? So let's dig in. to ways that you can do this for yourself. You got your pen and paper ready? Hopefully you've already been jotting down some nuggets and some goodies. Would love to hear about them. Send me a message. And let's go to question number 1. I'm going to take a drink first. Question number 1. It's a 2-parter. Some of these are 2-parters. Okay. So maybe like write the question at the top and leave a decent amount of room for you to come back and answer later, because you're going to want to come back and answer these in depth. What is an area of your life that you already feel really strong confidence in? Just sit with it. What's the first thing that comes up? What's an area of your life where you're already like, I'm the fucking bomb diggity. I'm really good at that. And if you're like, none, then I need you to dig deeper. And I need you to just fucking dig deeper. Past all of that shit of like, I don't have anything. You do. You just don't see it right now because you're focused on the fact that you don't have anything. You're focused on the lack. I need you to wipe that mindset just for now. And regardless, I need you to go deeper. Where are you already confident? So there was a time in my life, the only place that I felt confident was when I was bartending, or whether I was bartending or if I was putting makeup on women. Those are the only areas that I felt confident in. I was like, yeah, I can very easily help a woman feel absolutely beautiful and help her do her makeup in a way that's going to change her life and make her feel like a brand new fucking bitch. And I can fucking sling drinks. That's what I got. That's what I'm good at. I had to learn how to take that type of confidence in those different areas and how to bleed it into other areas of my life, even though I felt like I was an imposter. Like, who the fuck do I think I am? I had to take the confidence I had in those areas and let it go into the other areas of life that needed it. That's what I had to do. That's what most of us have to do. That's what you have had to do. So these areas that you're writing down right now that you already feel confident in, like a natural confidence, I need you to skip down for the next question. Question 1.2, right? Second parter. How are you going to bring that energy of confidence into the other areas of your life? Can I give you a recommendation of something you can try? If you know an area of your life that you're confident in, and you know an area of your life that you wish to be more confident in, and you understand the fact that in order to get more confident in this other area, you're going to have to take action. And some of those actions are going to have you fall right on your motherfucking face. And you're going to feel dumb, and you're going to feel silly, and you're going to feel all sorts of feels. And that's okay, because that's part of it, right? That's literally part of the fucking process. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. That's part of the fucking process. Okay? You know this. So in order to make it happen a little bit easier, what if you put on that identity? That's simple. What if, okay, example. So when I was bartending, especially when I went to Bristol, I was invited by one of my good buddies, my good bartender buddies as well. I worked with him and he's like, yo, do you want to go with me and bartend at Bristol down in the pit with all the cars going around you? Dude, I fucking met the coolest people down there, PS. It was fucking bomb. But I had to, like, we were weaving and moving around each other. Like, we were the type of bartenders that, like, I sit and watch and I'm like, look at these motherfuckers fucking dipping and diving around each other, making drinks, slinging. Like, it was good shit. I was confident in bartending already, but I had to put on a new level of confidence in order to do that. And the woman that was down at Bristol that day bartending in the pit, the woman that had lines and lines and lines of people who could be very intimidating. They could be. The people I was seeing, I was like, what the fuck? I took that woman, also the woman who decided she was going to go on road trips by herself and sleep in her Jeep and what anybody else had to say. I'm going to go see everything I want to see. That motherfucking bitch. That is the same energy, that identity, that boldness, that brazen. See what I did there? That woman, that is who created this empire. Mm-hmm. I had to take that identity and I had to step into it. So maybe that's a way that you can start to bring that energy to other areas of your life. So what are some key indicators that I have stepped into said energy? It's not the only indicator, but a key indicator. If I'm in that fucking zone, I got my red lipstick on, bitch. I have got my red lipstick on. Mhm. Or maybe I don't have any makeup on. My hair is in a messy bun. I'm wearing like my fucking workout clothes. If I'm in the energy, but I do not have like the dress on, the fucking identity shift costume, if you will, on. If I'm needing to step into that energy right then and there, it's a couple like deep breaths and just 1, 2, 3, let's fucking go. Let's go. Boom. But you have to make the choice. You can't be fucking wishy-washy about that shit. Because if you're wishy-washy about it, you're gonna get wishy-washy results. And that's not fucking fun. You have to fucking mean it when you do it. Okay? So figure out where you're already confident. Figure out how to bring that confidence into areas where you don't already feel confident with the expectation that you're going to have to take inspired action and you're going to fall on your fucking face and you're going to fucking feel silly and stupid and dumb at times. You might even feel like you failed, but you're not silly, stupid, and dumb. And you didn't fail. It's part of the process. 1 step forward, 2 steps back sometimes. Fucking expect it. Because then when you take 2 steps forward and then another step forward and then 4 steps forward and then only 1 step back, you'll be like, I'm fucking smashing goals right now. Just expect 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's going to happen sometimes. All right. Let's move on to the second question when it comes to confidence. Let's dig in deeper here. When was the last time that you doubted yourself? This is a 2-part question. Again, I think all of these are. I like 2-parters. When was the last time that you doubted yourself? Get it out on paper. Talk about it. Stop trying to fucking keep it all inside. It doesn't fucking work. It's never worked. It'll never work. It doesn't work. Don't keep all that shit inside. When's the last time you doubted yourself? Say it out loud. Go up to a mirror, say it out loud. Face your fucking shit. When's the last time? You might want to take some big deep breaths. Remember to signal safety to your body. Maybe just if you start to feel a little out of sorts, if you start to feel like your body, remember, learning the language of your body is very important. If you start to feel like your body's yelling, red alert, bitch, we are in survival mode, you're going to need to signal safety to your body. Okay, because we're doing big work here. We're talking about big shit, especially when you're talking about the times that you doubted yourself. If you start to feel big emotions and you let your body just stay out of sorts, that is not a good cycle to stay in. So maybe you just tap your chest and you're like, yo, it's okay. It's okay that I doubted myself. I know that I'm going to make it through. I know that I can do this, right? Whatever you got to do. But figure it out. Get clear. When's the last time you doubted yourself? Are you ready for the second part? Remember, come back to this and answer these questions and fucking pause this. Pause it to have more time for yourself. I'm going to go through these rapid fire. You might need to pause. Okay? Are you ready for the second part of this question? It's going to crack some shit open. What story were you telling yourself in that moment of doubting yourself? And what is the truth that now you can rewrite that story with? So what? I love you. I'm going to say it though. What bullshit were you telling yourself when you were doubting yourself? You know it's not true. You know it's not true. It's fear. It's that bullshit. It's fear. It's okay. You're human. But what bullshit were you telling yourself? Or what excuses were you making? And now you can rewrite that story so you no longer are doubting yourself and you can step into more confidence. Recently, I heard from a one-on-one client. She has a really big, we'll call it an event that's coming up that she's a part of. And this event is something that is slightly similar to what she has done before. But in her profession, she's never done it to this scale. And so there's a lot of moving parts that she doesn't quite understand. And there's not a whole lot of people within her corporation that she's able to ask these questions to. So a lot of it is you're being thrown in and you're going to fucking figure it out. That's life, right? Sometimes that's just life, man. You got to embrace the suck. And so she was thrown into this. Side note, embrace the suck. I have to give another shout out to Travis and the business that he works for, the business he is currently working for, because they say that and it's like a part of their mantra and it's fucking delicious and I love it so much. Anyways, I digress. So she doesn't really have a whole lot of people that she can turn to. And when it comes to what she has to learn in order to be prepared for this event that she's going to be a part of. So take this and apply it to any part of your life where it feels like it could fit, by the way. When she has to get ready for that, what she is needing to do is she needs to get clear on where it is that she's going, and she needs to get clear on what it is that she needs to learn. Because what she has found is if she doesn't have some sort of a strategy or some sort of a, hey, it's okay, you can figure it out, she gets stuck in this place. And it's like quicksand that she doesn't even see it coming and she doesn't realize when she's in it until somebody's like, yo, you're in your shit again. And that shit, that quicksand is what most of us have, which is, I don't know how to do that. And I'm never going to be able to figure out how to do that. And there's not enough time. And how am I going to, that fucking quicksand? So what she has to do is she leaves a note. She has a few of them actually, and it pulls her right out of the quicksand and it brings her back into the reality, brings her back into the present. And all the note says is you'll figure it out when you get there. Brilliant. Fucking chef's kiss. Fucking brilliant. You'll figure it out when you get there. She understands that she has to go step by step and learn these different processes. Again, she has to just figure it out in order to be prepared for this very large event. She's taking it upon herself to take those steps. It's so easy to get stuck in that quicksand of, I don't know. You'll figure it out. Also, she and I talk a lot about the fact that we are in the age of information. And I'm going to repeat that for you. We are in the age of information. You're in the age of technology. You can learn fucking anything. Whenever fear pops up or doubt pops up, remind yourself, yo, I can fucking learn anything. You can learn. Okay, this was like 15 years ago. Okay, so still in the age of information, but still 15 years, a lot has happened. I learned how to change my fucking oil. Now, mind you, I had been shown by my dad when I was young, and like I had seen people do it a little bit, but I wasn't really fucking paying attention. I learned how to change my oil on Pinterest. I didn't even use YouTube. I mean, maybe I did at one point because now I remember watching a video, but initially, I learned how to change my oil on fucking Pinterest, dude. You can learn anything in an afternoon. And if you are committed and you stay focused and you stay off your fucking phone looking at other shit and you don't get distracted and all that stuff, if you just focus in, you can learn how to do fucking anything in an afternoon. Point blank, that's it. So I'm going to ask you that the next time that you get stuck in that quicksand that so many of us get stuck in, that client got stuck in, just remind yourself, I'll figure it out when I get there. Okay? Okay. Let's move on to question 3 for confidence. We already have 2 down. Come back to these because this is going to help you build that confidence, especially if you start taking inspired action based off of these questions. And if you want to get clearer on inspired action and you want to get some really good nuggets there, come to Women Rising. Let's hang out for 4 days. Remember, you get the replay too. And if I don't know when you're watching this, but the doors close on December 15th. So this comes out on the 6th of December. So even if you're watching this on the day that it comes out, you got a little bit more than a week. December 15th. Go get your fucking seat. Okay. Last question for confidence. This is going to be rough. Who or what has made you feel small? Okay. We are not casting blame. We're not casting any shit like that. We are not pointing a finger. We are getting clear and we're understanding. Notice the perspective difference. Who or what has made you feel small? Now, of course, there's the understanding that in order for something to make you feel small, it first has to have your agreement to it. You have to agree that somebody can make you feel small or something can make you feel small. You have to have consent. And that's okay. But we need to figure out if it's happened. And we need to get clear on it. Whatever comes to the surface, maybe that's the first one that's ready to be worked on. Maybe it's time to clear that shit out. Who or what has made you feel small? Maybe it's an experience that you had, maybe some shit in your evidence bucket that it's time to dump the fuck out and refill with different evidence that you collect on purpose. Let's move into the second part of this, part 2. Who or what has made you feel small? How are you going to reclaim your power and redefine yourself? How are you going to reclaim your power? If you are casting blame I'm going to say this with love. I'm going to get right to the fucking thing. Are you ready? Buckle down, bitch. Are you ready? You cannot be in your power and play a victim at the same time. I say that with love. I'm holding both of your hands. I'm kissing your fucking forehead, bitch. You cannot be in your power and play a victim at the same time. I know. Sucks. I know. Human nature. Sometimes we're just out here playing a fucking victim. I get it. Can't be in your power and play the victim at the same time, though. So you got to choose here. How are you going to reclaim your power and redefine yourself? Isn't it Eleanor Roosevelt? No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. There's a consent there. Stop letting people and things make you feel small. It's a choice that you're making. You can feel your big feelings and honor them. But guess what, my babe? Your feelings aren't facts. Your feelings aren't facts. Our feelings aren't facts. Just like our thoughts are not us. You don't have to attach to every thought that goes through your fucking brain because your thoughts are not you. Your fear is not you. You are not your emotions. They are energy moving through you. So let them move through instead of get stuck. Okay. Okay. So we're going to move into courage. But before we do, can we just like take a little shake your body break? Like just move your body, stretch. I just did. Okay. Not to sound like a fucking whatever. I am going to sound like a little gym rat and I'm not a gym rat yet, but I hope to be very soon again. I've been working my ass off and I can like barely move my head right now. So if you're watching this and you're like, what the fuck? It's because, okay, today was arm day. Okay. And the other day was fucking back day. Okay. All right. Move around. Feel good. Feel good. Inhale, exhale with me. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. I'll tell you a little pro tip. Maybe you've heard it before from me. It's one of my favorites with breath work. If you inhale through your nose and let your stomach fully expand and then hold that breath at the top and then exhale through your mouth and make some noise, letting it be a really slow, controlled exhale. And bonus tip, if you let your exhale be longer than your inhale, you're going to feel good, motherfucker. You're going to feel real good. Motherfucker with love, of course. Are you ready to try it? Let's try it. Inhale, hold, exhale slow and long. You feel it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Okay, we're going to go a little quicker through courage because now we understand the name of the game. And I'm going to ask you these questions. And if you want to come back for part 2, we're going to be covering a lot of other things, including clarity and commitment and celebrating your life. Okay, so if you want the whole shebang and you want to be a part of something that changes your life in 4 days, and I know that sounds cheesy, but I'm being really fucking serious. If you want to be a part of that, Women Rising starts December 16th. You get the live access, you get the replay access, that is, and doors close December 15th. Go get your seat. I would love to see you there. I would love to meet you and chat with you and all the things. Let's move into new page, new title. Or subtitle, that is, because our main title is how to fucking co-create the life of your dreams, or however you wrote it. We're moving into courage now. And when we move into courage, what we're really talking about is moving through fear and taking bold action. You're going to need to look at your fear, call it out by name, move through it with bold action. That's what you're going to have to do. We both know that I love John Wayne, and he is famous for a quote that sounds a lot like, courage is being scared to death and saddling up anyway. You've probably heard me talk about that before because it's a great fucking quote, man. Courage is being scared to death and saddling up anyway. Bitch, you're going to have to saddle up. Courage is going to require that you look at that fear and you do it regardless. I have been scared my whole life, for being honest. I've been so scared. I was terrified when I was younger, especially, I was terrified of going out and just being myself and figuring out who that was, especially after, anybody that's ever lived a pretty fucking difficult childhood. It's really hard to figure out who you are when you're not just surviving anymore. You're like, whoa, who am I though? And then it took a lot of courage to walk through fear when I asked for a divorce, when I started traveling the country by myself, when I started moving, when I planned to move to Tennessee, to the Gatlinburg area. I planned to do that on my own. Travis joining me was just a happy little surprise. It took so much courage and identifying my fucking fear when I was like, I'm going to start a fucking business. I started many. And they're all still alive, and they truly are all thriving in different ways. But this one is my favorite. Coaching women, helping them become the most incredible fucking versions of themselves while they create the life of their fucking dreams and they do it with purpose and they go after whatever it is they want. It was so scary. Fucking terrifying, my dude. Do you have something in your life right now that when you think about doing it, you're like, how dare I even think that I can do that? Now, maybe that's a big feeling. Maybe it's a twinge of it. Maybe you've had it before, but you've worked through it. But just consider something in your life where you've ever felt that way or currently feel that way. Like, who the fuck do I think I am? That is how I felt the whole first year of owning and running Heather Pal Coaching. Who the fuck do I think I am? I'm a woman who has been a bartender, a lifer. I grew up in my grandparents' bar. I wasn't cooking as much as my siblings were. I was mostly bartending and waiting tables and then bartending and then bartend. Just who the fuck do I think I am? I have worked in corporate America. I have worked with Sephora and put makeup on women. I've worked in finance. Like I worked in all these areas. And I felt like I had done so much personal work, so much development of myself, and I had so many tools that I could share and so much wisdom I could share. But I also felt like, who the fuck do I think I am? I am just some bitch just going through life. Like who wants to learn from me? I had so much fear about that. There's still fear that comes up. Probably will forever, if I'm being honest. You are going to have things in your life where you're going to look at your goals and the way to get there, and you're going to say to yourself, how fucking dare I? Who the fuck do I think I am? And you're going to have to look right at that fear, and you're going to have to take some bold fucking action anyway. Courage is built in those moments. That is the only way you will build the courage that is lasting and unshakable, is you have to jump in. And it's fucking scary to jump in. But again, that's why you come and work with me. That's why you go and work with any coach. So you can have the support and the guidance and the help and the everything else that you need. This is going to be a really important part of this episode. Are you ready for these questions? I fucking know you are. First one's a two-parter, of course. First part of the question. What's a fear that you've been holding on to? Like a heavy fucking suitcase and roadblock. What is a fear that you have been holding on to, just like a heavy fucking suitcase, and it's just continued to be a roadblock? What's the fear? Now, once you figure out the fear, or plural, maybe it's plural, once you figure that out and you get it on paper and you look at it, that in itself is a step, and I want you to celebrate that step because that shit's important. We just talked about that. But we're going to go deeper now. We're going to go into the second part of this question. And remember, again, to pause this if you need to pause it. So this fear that you've been holding on to, like a heavy motherfucking suitcase that's full of bricks and you've been just dragging it around with you, if you were to take one step around that roadblock, or if you were to drop that luggage and just take one step without them, what would that look like? Just one step without that fear. What would that look like? You can go deeper. You can go further. What would taking 5 steps look like? What would taking that one big leap that maybe you've been not taking, but you've been thinking about it? What would that look like? Okay. I'm going to take a drink. Pause if you need to pause. We got two more questions. Are you ready? I love these episodes with you. And I love that we're getting down to the nitty gritty together. And I love that if you want to go deeper, you know where to find me. And you're like, you know what? This is the shit I need. This is the community I need. This is the type of support I need. I love that you're here and that we're doing this because this is a free resource, babes. This is the best free resource right now. And you know that if you want to go further, there's all these options. You have the 4-day events, you have the 5-week retreats, you have the powerhouse programs, especially the wealthy woman one. It's coming back around this summer. You have all these different ways that you can reach out. We can work together one-on-one if you really want to get deep into it. Like this, the fact that you're here, I really love that. And I'm really grateful that you are because not only am I grateful that you're listening to the podcast and hopefully rating it, hopefully leaving me a comment. I would love that so much. But I'm just really happy that you're doing this because I know that if you're doing this, then you're doing yourself a giant service and you're changing your life and you're doing it on purpose. And that's fucking cool. And I love that for you. Okay, I digress. Let's go to question number 2. This is the only one that's not a two-parter. The only one. Okay. This is fun. This one's going to be really, really fun for you to dig into and play with. Who inspires you to be courageous? Oh, right, it is a two. It is a two-parter. They're all two-parters now. Okay. Who inspires you to be courageous? Who inspires you to be courageous? There are so many women that inspire, there's so many humans that inspire me to be courageous. There's always going to be a part of me that's going to answer this with the little girl inside of me. She inspires me to be courageous. There's a little girl inside of me that had the biggest dreams and wanted to do all the things, and she had no fear. And if she did have fear, she didn't fucking care. She didn't fucking care if she fell and scuffed her fucking knee. She didn't fucking care. That little girl inspires me. She inspires me to be courageous. There are a lot of the times too that for me, I think of the women that came before me, like the women that came before me in my lineage, the women who didn't have the opportunities that I have, the women that wished one day and hoped and prayed and dreamed of the day that a woman in the family would be able to own a fucking empire and become wildly wealthy and help women from all over the world, you know? I mean, fuck, there was probably women in my family line that were just like, I hope one day women can own land and not be used as currency. You know? I think about a lot of women that are here on this earth now with us that inspire me to be courageous. The women I work with, they always inspire me, especially my one-on-one clients, because I get to actually see inside their lives. And like, we're like besties for like 6 months. And we're so tight and we're so connected in the most beautiful ways, whether it's in our calls or whether it is sending voice clips back and forth, or sometimes even just fucking funny memes, like they inspire me to be courageous. Who inspires you to be courageous? Are you ready for the second part of this one? How can you use that energy inside of you and get inspired right now? So, when you think about the people that inspire you to be courageous, the interesting thing about that is the aspects and characteristics that you see within them that help you feel inspired. The only reason that you're able to witness those, acknowledge those, speak to those different traits and aspects of them is because you hold that inside of you. And at a subconscious level, that's why you're seeing that. So it's already in you. Whatever it is that you see inside that other person that really fires your fucking shit up, that lives inside of you too. That's the only reason you're able to see that. Sometimes, though, it's just more difficult to see it within ourselves and to witness it inside of ourselves. It's very easy if you go up to a mirror, though, and you start to amp yourself up a little bit and you start to do that work, then it shows up easy peasy lemon squeezy. But the question is, how are you going to take that energy that's inside of you and start to get inspired today? So, as you know, one of my favorite ways to bring this to light is to share a movie because it's just so easy to be able to share with other humans. This piece of art, this movie, there's a movie. It's the Wonder Woman #1 with Gal Gadot. You've heard me talk about it a million times. When I think about the energies that inspire me, it's that energy. It's this compassionate, loving, fuck around and find out warrior vibe, And the only reason I know that I'm able to see that in that character is because it's within me as well. So I'm just going to ask you to dig into that, to notice the different characteristics and aspects of these people that inspire you and figure out how you can bring more of that energy up within you. And then maybe you can feel a little bit more courageous as yourself. Okay. Last question. Are you ready? I'm so excited. It's a two-parter, of course. How does fear show up in your body? Hmm. We went there. This is mind, body, and soul work. Okay? We do all of it. How does fear show up in your body? So sometimes for me, give you some examples, and I'll give you some from clients as well. So for me, sometimes fear shows up in my body, and I'll just like have like the shakes. I'll just be like I'm shivering. And most of the time, you can attribute that to what would be called the freeze response, right? Definitely a part of that for me when my body is feeling fear is not only am I like in that shivering freeze response, but I'm also really like shallow breathing. I'm not breathing deep. It's maybe a bit slower and not as exaggerate, but it's shallow. It's not deep, good breathing, right? It's very shallow and it's probably making me feel even worse, if we're being honest. That's one of the ways that fear shows up in my body. Fear also shows up in my body as a tightness and a knotting within my sacral. So, especially in my upper stomach, I can feel like this tightness and like this constriction. Fear also feels like my throat closing sometimes. It feels like a really heavy weight on my shoulders or in my chest. It feels like downward spirals of thoughts. So, how does fear show up in your body? It's so important to identify these different pieces of the language of your body. You're learning the language of you, which is so helpful, so fucking helpful. So, first part is how does fear show up in your body? Are you ready for the second part? Last part of questions. How can you signal safety in those moments and move through fear when you notice that your body is in that fear state? Because first you have to even be able to tell that it is, and then you can take some sort of action, right? So, as you know, one of my favorite mentors, she uses the word or the phrase signal safety to your body, which a special shout out to one of my old one-on-one clients, Emily, who introduced me to said mentor because love Kate Northrup. She's great. How can you signal safety to your body and then move through the fear after you've identified that your body is in that fear state? So there's a lot of different ways. I'm going to tell you right now, if you want a list of some really great somatic practices to use or body work that you can use during those moments, send me a quick DM or send me an email. Remember, heatherpowell.coaching@gmail.com. Just send me an email or a DM and be like, yo, what are some different ways that I can work through fear in my body? I would love to give you some. I truly wish that I would have had more of the body work when I started this process. Not that there's any regrets or I would take it back because it got me to where I am, of course. But I wish I would have started with the body because instinctively, and it was the path of least resistance, I started with my mindset and that's great. And it was wonderful. And most people do. But I wish I would have started with my body because I feel like that would have been even more helpful to have an exact list, step by step, of what to do when I'm having those big feelings. It just would have made a world of difference. So if you're wanting that as well, reach out to me and let me know. I would love to give them to you. Okay, so how are we feeling? We are sitting in more confidence. We are sitting in more courage. We're getting really fucking clear on how to get there. We're answering big questions that bring up big feelings and make big shifts happen in our lives. This is the first part of how to create the life of your dreams, how to co-create the life of your dreams. You have to get clear on these areas. And sometimes it's scary. Sometimes it's exciting and exhilarating. Sometimes you're like, whoa, this is so much to go through and handle. There's a lot of different feelings that you might be feeling with different areas of this, and that's okay. Pay attention to those. If you are truly in a space where you actually want to move on to a new chapter of your life, maybe you're in a transition, maybe you, just like me, maybe you went through a divorce, or maybe you had a really big healing that happened where you cut contact off with someone in your family and it was life changing. Maybe you're getting married, maybe you're moving across the country, maybe you're starting a business, whatever the transition is. When you are transitioning and you decide that you want to step into a new chapter or a new era or a new version of yourself, it's going to be really, really important and it's going to make it a lot easier if you go through all of this and you look at it with that neutral curiosity that we've talked about. Just be neutral. Just observe. Don't attach to any of this shit. You, of course, want to feel feelings because that's where the real magic sauce is consistency, experience, and feelings and emotions, energies. But don't attach to this. Let it just be a neutral observation where you're like, wow, that's interesting that I feel that way. Because as we've talked about before, as you're stepping into a new identity, you're going to have to release some of the stuff that you carried with you up until now. And in order to do that, you're going to have to shift a lot of that mindset. You're going to have to shift a lot of the behaviors and the actions that you've been doing. And these questions and the answers that come forward are going to help you do that. All right. Okay. Come back. Remember, be on the lookout for part 2. We're going to be covering clarity, commitment, and celebration of life. Oh, consistency. I talked to you about that in the beginning. Let's just be honest with you, or honest with each other, I should say. None of this is going to stick and stick around and continue working if you're not consistent. Consistency in life will get you so much further than anything else will. If you have a dream or a goal and you go after it, and every time you fall down, you keep getting back up. Every time you fall off the wagon, you keep getting back on. Every single time you keep going towards it, that consistency will get you there. It is more important to have consistency than to do it right the first time. It is more important to have consistency than to know exactly what the fuck you're doing. You'll figure it out on the way. You just have to be consistent. Okay. All right. You know, the end is always going to be the same, though. We're going to wrap this call up, wrap this episode up the same way we always do. I'm going to ask you to go be kind to yourself and others. I recently, in the last month or so, had just this giant wave of absolutely unhinged distaste for hate and division and racism, homophobia, just any type of hatred towards another person. I was enraged. Like I said, unfucking hinged. It really got to me. And as a person who is a huge advocate for being kind to yourself and others and doing the work necessary in order to get there and to be able to do that in the way that feels good to you, I'm also an advocate for stopping hate in its tracks, for stopping division in its tracks. I grew up with it. I get it. I see it around me, not as often as I used to, which is always nice. But I'm going to ask you, when you're being kind to yourself and others, to also shut down hate so quick. You don't have to be unhinged like I was. When I say unhinged, I just simply felt big feelings and didn't fucking care. Like, if you are hating on another person and I made you feel uncomfortable because I refuse to have hate around me, then I don't know what the fuck to tell you. And I was pretty vocal about it. You don't have to go to an unhinged extreme like I did. But I will tell you that if you refuse to allow hate and division and all these other things to be around you, and at the same time, you're also finding your own personal balance of spreading the love and the kindness for yourself and others, you will find yourself getting a lot further in life and feeling a lot fucking better. So I'm going to ask you to do that. I'm not promoting unhinged feral behavior, but you are talking to your slightly unhinged, very feral self-worth coach. Okay, so you got what you came for. I will see you for part 2. I am so excited for you to start co-creating the life of your dreams. And remember, go grab your fucking seat for Women Rising and send me a DM so I can send you your special code. All right, I love you. Talk to you soon.